I don't know about you, Lara, but having George in my life has made it so much more fun and a little bit stressful.
I know what you mean about dog-related stress. This little one keeps me on my toes, but he does make me smile.
But our furry friends provide us with nothing but love and companionship, and all they want in return is the same.
And food, and I think frisbees.
Plenty of frisbees. For you guys at home, Pooches at Play is a feature-packed show about all things dogs, with lots of great ideas and tips to make life with your dog more fun and enjoyable.
Each week we'll have dog training tips, some great new products, and even some weekend escapes.
So for you guys that love dogs, make sure you tune in. Grab a cuppa, get comfy, because the next half hour is something you are not going to want to miss out on.
Have you ever wondered why your dog continuously jumps up at you, even though you're telling it off every time it does that? That's because it's a man-made problem, and we're the ones causing it. Trish, how are we doing this?
It generally starts when we get the puppy, Lara, and we're all excitable and we come home and we, pick up the puppy, and every time we come home, it's just this great, excitable homecoming. That's generally training the puppy to start jumping up on us.
Okay, and then at some point we decide we don't want you to do this anymore, so we start telling them off, but they don't listen. Why, what should we be doing instead?
Well, basically, Lara, there are a couple of different ways that we can, stop behaviour. One way is to completely ignore it. So we no longer pick up the puppy and it's no longer playtime. We just turn our back and walk away. Or we can actually teach the puppy or the dog to do something that we want it to do, like teach it to sit. Okay. And so if we reinforce the sit, we get more of the sit rather than the other behaviour.
So at the time they're motivated to jump on us, so we need to motivate them to do something else, which we want them to do. What about in times when they're out in the backyard and they're scratching on the door and we go out and we yell them, shut up, stop doing it?
Yeah, well, it's the same like jumping. So whenever we start getting angry at the dog and we start telling it to stop and stop jumping, the same thing when we go outside and we tell the dog to shut up. We are still reinforcing the dog. The dog barks, it wants us out there, it gets us out there, gets reinforced. So basically the best way is to wait until the dog stops barking, wait for it to be calm, and then we open the door and let the dog in. And we're reinforcing the dog for calm instead of the barking and the jumping up on the door.
Okay, so it's really important that we reward the behaviour that we want and that we don't reinforce what we don't want them to do. It can be hard to learn sometimes, can't it?
Absolutely, and it's getting your timing right as well, but certainly teaching the dog what you want it to do.
Yep.
And then ignoring or, moving away or withholding reinforcers for the behaviours that you don't want them to do.
And how can we sort of motivate them to do the good behaviour rather than the bad behaviour?
Well, basically using something that the dog likes. So in training, we usually use treats or toys or pats. Or to actually come into the room or to, to get attention from us. So anything that the dog likes, we can certainly use to teach and reinforce the behaviours that we want.
All right, so sometimes though the problem can get so bad that the dog just keeps doing it anyway because we've reinforced it so much. So if that does happen, it's probably time to see a qualified trainer.
Absolutely, yeah. It's generally easier to get someone to come and give you a hand and to show you what to do, because sometimes you think you're doing the right thing, but you're not.
Yeah, all right, so be careful what you reinforce. Reward the good behaviour that you want, and life with your dog should be a good one.
Absolutely.
Keeping your dog groomed can be easy as long as you've got the right tools. Annika's here from Rufus Coco with some great products to keep your dog looking handsome. Now, Annika, George is probably the most handsomest dog in Australia. What can I do to make him even more handsome?
Well, he is very handsome. So what would help keep him handsome is the self-cleaning slicker brush, because brushing is a really great thing to remove the dead fur, but also to distribute the oils evenly. But the really cool thing about this brush is that it has a self-cleaning feature.
Fantastic.
So it means that you can always keep it clean.
Half the time I spend trying to get the hair out of the comb. That's brilliant.
I know, it's tricky, isn't it? And if you need to keep the hair trimmed in between time, the Easy Trim cordless clippers are a fantastic option. They've got several different combs, so you can trim according to the length that you want around their face, maybe around their paws or feet, or even around their bottom. And they're very low noise. And finally, to keep the nails at a great length, we have the safety nail clippers and files. So these have stainless steel blades and a guard that stops you over clipping the nails.
Fantastic, because unfortunately, I hate to admit it, but I've had an accident with George where I cut his nails a little too short and they bled. So how do I avoid that?
Yeah, look, it's not easy, but what you can do with light coloured nails is if you hold them up to the light, you can actually see where the nerve is and you avoid cutting up that far. With dark coloured nails, it is a little bit trickier, but if you just cut it 45 degrees gradually, you'll get to a section, it's like the pulp section, and that's the area before the nerve.
Great.
The other great thing I wanted to mention about these is that they have a file, so that if you splinter the nail when you actually cut it, you can actually give it a quick zhuzh with the file.
Well, there's some really great tools to keep your dog looking handsome. Looks like George and I are going to have another go at nail clipping, and we might remain friends.
With our pets now living longer, their chances of getting cancer are at an all-time high. Many cancers can be detected through physical examination, so it's really important to keep up with those yearly vet checks. In some cases, the cancer is in a difficult location or responds better to chemotherapy or radiotherapy. In these cases, you may be referred to a specialist to find out what course of treatment they recommend. This is a really good time to get pre-approval from your pet insurance company, so you understand your level of cover and what costs you might be up for. Some symptoms that might prompt you to visit your vet include rapid weight loss, perhaps a change in appetite, lumps or bumps that you might feel, or perhaps difficulty going to the toilet or even breathing difficulties. They're all subtle, but you need to follow your gut instinct. Okay, Teddy, let's have a look at you, hey? Often, cancer is the remaining diagnosis when all other possible causes for the symptoms have been ruled out. If the cancer is contained or it's benign and it hasn't spread, then your vet may be happy to treat it through surgical removal. In some cases though, the cancer is in a difficult location or it will respond better to chemotherapy or radiotherapy. And in those cases, you might be referred to a specialist to find out what course of treatment they recommend. Because they can't tell us what they're feeling, there is a lot of diagnostic testing required if cancer is suspected in your dog. So the costs can add up before you even get to treatment. There's nothing more heartbreaking as a vet than being faced with a sick dog and knowing that you can help it with treatment, but the owner simply can't afford it. And the dog has to either suffer in silence or potentially face euthanasia. And this is where pet insurance makes our job a lot easier and their life a lot simpler too. Doesn't it, Teddy?
Taking that perfect pic of your pooch can be a bit hit and miss sometimes. I know George and I have had some troubles, but I want to get a really nice shot for his Instagram. I've got Kerry here from Puppy Tales Photography. Kerry was Australian Pet Photographer of the Year in 2015, and she's going to give me some tips on how to get George looking schmicko for Instagram. How you going, Kerry?
I'm great, thank you.
So what can I do to get George looking really great on his Instagram profile?
Okay, so I've got three main tips that I love to see in Instagram photos. So the first one is eye contact. Getting your dog looking straight at you when you're taking the photo makes a beautiful photo. I also love it when you see photos and they're taken lower perspective. So we get down at dog's eye level and then it's really engaging. Sometimes it's a little bit quirky and it's a totally different point of view from what we usually see of our dogs when we're standing up and looking down on them. And the third tip is personality. It's really important to capture your dog's true personality, what they're really like, and to do it in a safe and fun and happy way.
Okay, so getting George's attention. So George is a big fan of a ball. Would you use a treat or something, or what's the technique?
Yeah, so knowing what your dog is fascinated in or what interests them most. So we can see with George, he loves his ball. George? Yeah, it gets his attention. Some dogs are treat motivated, other dogs love sounds. So you might squeak or have a squeaker, you might bark at them sometimes, and that just gets their contact. Like George has nearly not stopped looking at me now because I've got his ball in his hand. So that's perfect for taking photos.
So does it mean you've got to become quite skilled at taking a photo with one hand because you've got the treat or ball in the other hand?
Yeah, it's certainly going to be helpful if you can operate your camera with one hand and then have another hand free to hold a treat, hold a toy, and use that to help you with getting the photo.
Or get myself a photography assistant.
Yeah, ideally, that'd be wonderful, wouldn't it?
Now, getting down to George's level, I'm not an old man, but the knees are starting to get a little sore. Any tips on how to get down there or maybe get George up to my level?
Yeah, you can certainly bring them up off the ground. So if you've got a bench or a chair, you can pop them up and then you don't have to get quite as low. Or you can still even lie down flat because then you get like really into their world, like really at their level.
And personality. Obviously, it's the most important part of the shoot. George has some very unique characteristics. How do I get them in the photo?
Yeah, George has got a fabulous, enthusiastic personality. So that's what we want to capture. We're going to work with him. We're going to make it fun. We're going to keep it light. for him, we're going to use his ball because he loves that and that gets his attention, and that's his personality is wrapped in that ball.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Kerry. If you want to get some more tips, check out Kerry's website. In the meantime, George and I have got a photo shoot to do, don't we, mate? Ball. Go fetch. Woo.
Have you ever dreamt of running your own business but thought the startup costs and processes were too difficult to even contemplate? Well, if you love dogs and you want to earn up to $2,000 or more a week, I've just found the business for you. Come on, Monty, let's go. Come on, hi, May. You ready for your haircut? Yeah, yeah, woo. So what made you decide to get into dog grooming, May?
Well, I knew that I wanted to get into the animal industry, but when I was doing my research, I realised that a lot of animal industry jobs take a lot of training, you know, long-term training, or a lot of volunteer work as well. And I couldn't afford to do that. You know, at my age, I needed to be able to earn an income straight away. And when I did my research, I learned that with Blue Wheelers, I could do the training and basically start to earn an income straight away.
What about running the business side of things? How did you find that? Was there support there?
I can't speak highly enough of how supportive they are. You know, you send them an email or you call them about an inquiry and they always respond immediately, and you know, they've got a lot of really experienced people on the team, so you've always got a lot of support when you've got questions and come across things for the first time that you haven't seen. They're really, really good like that.
How you doing there, Monty? And how do the dogs, how do they feel after they've been groomed, looking $1 million?
They always look so happy. You see them run back to their owners and they're always so happy, and you can just tell that they feel better. Feel lighter and cleaner and softer.
Owning a Blue Wheelers mobile dog grooming franchise means you can work as little or as much as you want. Be your own boss, yet know you are backed up with on-the-ground support and a network of 180 mobile Blue Dog billboards across the country. Tracy, you've got an interesting story. You've come all the way from Borneo. How long have you been here now?
I've been in Australia for 5 years. And I come from Borneo, specifically from a state called Sarawak.
I've been to Sarawak.
Yes.
Lots of orangutans there.
Exactly.
But also lots of other animals, so you've always grown up with them, haven't you?
Yes, I mean, the whole reason why I'm into dog grooming is because as a kid, as I was growing up, I had all sorts of animals. I had turtles, tortoises, pigeons, squirrels, monkeys, slow lorises, dogs, and you know, that's just naming a few.
Wow, so you've always loved animals. Is that why you decided to get into this?
Exactly. Well, when I had a choice to change my career, I thought, why not do something that I really, really love? So dog grooming came as a natural choice.
Was it daunting starting your own business?
Yes, it was, because I've always worked for somebody else, but I guess Blue Wheelers really showed me. I mean, Blue Wheelers has a system which showed me exactly what to do, the marketing part of it, the actual running of the business. So, you know, right after when I started, I mean, it was very easy. Yes.
Grooming services start from $35 and can book out weeks in advance, so make sure you book in early. Becoming a Blue Wheelers franchisee is easy. All it takes is the right attitude, a love for dogs, and a commitment to customer service. To find out how you can have a fun, rewarding career change, visit bluewheelers.com.au. Those nails are looking very flash, Darcy. Very flash indeed. Smile with Georgia and little Jerry boy. Little?
Yeah, ironically.
Oh, he is gorgeous. Georgia, when did you start up his Instagram account?
October last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he's got like over 13,000 followers at the moment.
Just ticked over.
So how has it affected Jerry's life?
I don't think it's affected it at all because I just try to take candid pictures. So I'm like a paparazzi or paparazzi, doing his dog thing. So I want dogs to be dogs. I'm really passionate about that and not trying to make him something else. So he's sleeping on the couch, you know, running around, so...
Just doing his own thing.
That's right, yeah.
And what about your life? Has it changed much doing this?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm taking time off work, and I've started, you know, focusing more on dogs. I've started a dog brand with a friend called Bonafide Collection, and he's a little mascot for them, so yeah, it's been wonderful.
Oh, gorgeous. Well, Jerry boy, we hope that stardom into becoming an Insta pooch doesn't go to your head, buddy. He probably, maybe a little bit to his head might.
A little bit.
Help balance
it
it out.
might be in proportion then.
Thank you, Georgia, and thank you, little Jerry boy, for joining us today. With dogs being such an important part of the family these days, how often have we wanted to take them away on holiday? Fortunately, many places now recognise this, so they can come with us on our getaways. I thought I'd give us some general tips to help make this as stress-free as possible. What do you think, Das? Yeah. In public places, dogs need to be on leash, so it's a good idea to find out the local parks and beaches where they can run free. Go, Das! Always have a name tag with your phone number on it. Because they're at a new place, if they're left alone and escape, you want to make sure someone can get in touch immediately. Know where a local vet or emergency pet hospital is, just in case of emergency. And don't forget to always pick up after them. Thanks, Das. Check out if there are any dog-friendly cafes in the local area you're visiting. You can do this on takeyourpet.com.au. Hey, Das, want a puppuccino? Dogs can't be allowed to create a nuisance problem, such as constant barking. So if you do leave them on their own in the new environment, let them get settled in before you go out. Leave them with a bone or a slow-release treat toy so they can keep occupied. If staying in a new house, make sure you show them where the doggy door is if there is one, and make sure you show them where the new toileting area is in a house that they don't know. This is where you can go, Das, hey? It's a new area. And to make sure it's their home away from home, don't forget to take their bowl, their toys, their jacket if it's cold, poo bags, leads, blankets, bedding. Das, we're going to need a suitcase for you. But most of all, make sure you have lots of fun too.
This week's feature, Take Your Pet Property, is Tathra Beachside. This award-winning park on the beautiful Sapphire Coast has 500 metres of absolute beach frontage. There's a diverse range of accommodation options to suit all needs and budgets, from luxury 3-bedroom beach houses to shady grassy campsites and everything in between. Most impressively, there's a serious water park to delight the young and young at heart. For those looking for an escape on the doorstep of Sydney, then Dry Ridge Estate is perfect. This stunning boutique vineyard is nestled in the heart of the Megalong Valley of the Blue Mountains. The venue boasts a cellar door and accommodation, all with the best views the mountain has to offer. Dry Ridge Estate is only 2 hours drive from Sydney, which makes the vineyard very appealing for both weekends and day trips. If a winery isn't to your liking, then maybe a seaside holiday is. Ocean Blue Coastal Retreats is a boutique selection of pet-friendly and family-friendly holiday houses and cottages on the Mornington Peninsula. Hand-picked for their style and proximity to the beach, each property has a secure outdoor area for pets, along with a basket that includes a towel for your dog to get a rub down after their swim. Bring all your family and escape to the beach. From the coast and now to the country, this gorgeous B&B is called Must Love Dogs Rutherglen and was recently voted one of the best 25 bed and breakfasts in Australia. Fully restored to its former glory, this pet-friendly B&B is located within the northeast wine region of Rutherglen and offers luxury accommodation with tranquil gardens and an ambience, character and charm all of its own. For more pet-friendly accommodation ideas, visit the Take Your Pet website.
Food, glorious food. All dogs need it to survive, but some, like Big Ron here, like it just a little bit much sometimes, don't you? Robert, you're here to sort of tell us why we can benefit from giving our dogs slow-release toys to let the food out nice and slowly.
Well, the trouble is, you see, if we just put a bowl of food down for a dog often will just snort it up. So what we're trying to do, though, is to occupy them during the day. They don't have to eat as quickly as that. They don't do that in the wild.
Yes.
So if you're going to spin it out by using a toy like this, which, you know, just releases a bit with a bit of activity and makes a noise, there's plenty of play, and they're getting a bit of food and having a great time.
They are.
And of course, if it's occupying them, and so they're being rewarded, apparently fairly randomly, and that's the best form of reward to get, a little bit of food, and it goes an awful long way.
In the wild, they don't just get their food delivered on a bowl, so what can we do to help replicate that?
Well, we'll slow it up, just as they would in the wild. I mean, they have to locate where the prey are.
Yes.
They've got to, catch them, pounce on them.
Yes, they do, like Ronnie's doing right now.
And they've got to, then they've got to kill it.
Yes.
Then they've got to get into it.
Yep.
And so the whole thing takes an awful long time. And then, of course, there's an awful lot of competition by the rest of the pack as to who gets the choice bits.
Yeah, right.
So there's a lot going on there.
There is.
And so rather than just putting them in that food in that bowl and then snorting it up, let's just spread it out.
So that helps keep them occupied as well. I mean, Ronnie, you've been having a ball with your ball.
Indeed. So, I mean, feeding's obligatory, so let's spread it out and make it a rewarding exercise.
Yeah, and then that way they can hopefully keep themselves entertained while we have a nice meal as well.
Well, that would be nice.
We can try that anyway. Look,
Indeed.
to find out more about the Aussie Dog products, visit aussiedog.com.au.
Thanks to our friends at HIF, one lucky viewer is going to win an amazing Pampered Pooch weekend escape. All you have to do is share a creative photo on Instagram showing your pooch being pampered, along with the hashtag HIF Pampered Pooch, and tell us in 25 words or less why your dog deserves a pampered weekend escape. The prize includes accommodation for a family of 4 and your pooch to a pet-friendly accommodation provider in your home state to the value of $800. Plus, you'll get a Pampered Pooch wash and groom service worth up to $150. There's also 5 daily prize packs being given away every day over the next 2 weeks, containing a Rufus Coco water-free wash and a cool HIF Pet LED dog lead. For full terms and conditions, visit the Pooches at Play website.
No matter how long you've had a dog for, there is always something new to discover because no 2 dogs are ever the same.
There's no other dog like George. He's a special mutt with his own special personality. I guess that's why we love our puppies so much. They're all unique in their own special way.
And he will keep you very busy.
Speaking of which, we better get a wriggle on, mate. You've got a date with a groomer. And don't forget to check in next week and also look at our website for more information.
Das, maybe we should get you a haircut. You are looking a little bit scruffy.
What are you talking about? That's his look. Scruffy chic.
Yeah, probably.
I think you're handsome, Darcy.
So does he.